You are listening to The Mineral Way every Monday afternoon here on your favorite radio station from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs and I are here to answer any of your questions regarding health. We are here to help you out regarding opening your own home business. We're here to help with that as well. Please help me welcome to the show Pharmacist Ben Fuchs. Are you there, sir?
Yes, sir. Why don't you have some sound effects and, cheering?
You mean like boing?
No, cheering, like clapping.
How about like this?
No. That's the only sound effect you have, probably, right?
Well, I also have this one.
No, I'm talking about like crowds.
I have this
cheering.
one. That's my armpit.
No.
No?
I'm talking about people like,
Tough
loving
person.
on me.
Hmm.
Woo, yay, pharmacist.
Oh.
That kind of stuff.
All right,
I'm
well,
going to be on Coast to Coast tomorrow, too, by the way.
We'll work on that. Are you really?
Yep, Coast to Coast.
Tell George I said hi.
I will tell George I said hi.
Yeah.
George is awesome. I'm a big fan of George. I've been listening to George since he started in 2001, I think. 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? I was looking at some old pictures I had of myself from the early 2000s. Man, 20 years takes its toll. Holy moly.
It does, Dan.
That's
it
why
really
I
does.
supplement. I don't want the next 20 years. Oh, my goodness. I don't want anything to happen. I don't want anything to happen yucky. Things go wrong in life. Bills hit. And
Oh, man.
problems with your kids and your job. All that stuff.
Geez.
But as long as you're healthy, Dave.
Yeah.
As long as you're not in chronic pain, as long as you don't have some life-threatening illness, as long as you're not on prescription drugs that are ruining the quality of your life, consider yourself blessed. Absolutely blessed. And our job here, Dave, me and you, is to help people stay healthy who are healthy and get back to health if they're not. And that's what longevity's all about. That's what we're all about as well.
I like it, Ben Fuchs.
Thank you.
I love it.
Hey, do you know about microplastics? Have you been hearing about microplastics?
I know a little bit about microplastics. Probably, just what everybody else knows. If you're interested in headlines, it is a problem.
It's a serious problem.
Yeah.
And as it turns out now, microplastics are associated with gut problems, as if we don't have enough things going wrong with our digestive tracts. Now microplastics are being associated with digestive health issues, intestinal health issues. I was just reading an article, and that's the reason I want to bring it up. Let me see if I can find this article about microplastics being chelated by chitosan. Do you know what chitosan is? You ever hear chitosan?
It sounds familiar.
It's like insect shells or shrimp shells.
Okay.
What do they call them? Arthropods? What do they call these things? Arachnids, arthropods. Things like shrimp and insects have a hard shell, and part of that hard shell is made up of a material called chitosan.
Okay.
Well, it turns out that ingesting chitosan can promote the excretion of these microplastics, and you can get chitosan supplements pretty much everywhere. But I'll tell you something else very interesting that can tie up or bind, if you will, microplastics, and that is, you ready for this?
Yes.
Plant-derived colloidal minerals.
Get out of here, Ben. Are you serious?
Sir, I am not kidding you.
Wow.
So for people who are interested in protecting themselves from these microplastics, which are more and more being associated with intestinal problems, with just general health problems, colloidal minerals, just another reason why you want to make sure you're using your plant-derived colloidal minerals from longevity. They bind to microplastics. And it's not just microplastics, by the way. Not all, but a lot of toxins in the blood can be chelated by these microplastics. We're always by these plant-derived colloidal minerals. How we're always talking about dirty blood and sticky blood. Well, one of the underappreciated and really undervalued roles for plant-derived colloidal minerals, benefits of plant-derived colloidal minerals, is they have chelating properties for microplastics and general toxins in the blood. And they can help support blood flow. Yet another reason why you want to make sure you're on your plant-derived colloidal minerals, whether it's Beyond Tangy Tangerine or the Mineral Toddy, or there's a whole bunch of longevity products that have these plant-derived colloidal minerals. And this is one of Dr. Wallach's most brilliant contributions to the world of nutrition, is the value of plant-derived colloidal minerals, not only for their nutritional value, but also for their detoxification value.
Now, Ben, you and I know about the 90 for life, right? Dr.
Yes.
Wallach has come up with a list of 90 nutrients
Yes.
that he considers to be essential. There's some people could say there's more, there's less, but it's about 90 nutrients. We call it 90
90
life.
essential nutrients. Yes,
Now,
90
if you study your longevity products, anybody out there, you can go online and study. The tangy tangerine and EFAs are your basic 90 essential nutrients.
And the Osteomag.
The Osteo FX, what is the deal
There's
with
the
that,
vitamin
Ben?
D. You'll get magnesium and calcium in the plant-derived minerals, of course, but there's also vitamin D in the Osteomag, and that's why they have a separate product. The Osteomag, or Osteo FX, I think they.
Osteo FX.
Osteo FX, right? The Osteo FX is kind of an interesting product because it's very important for building connective tissue, and while it's marketed for bones, for folks dealing with osteoporosis, a large proportion of the body is made up of connective tissue, and aging in many ways is a connective tissue deteriorating problem, and anything you can do to build connective tissue is going to have anti-aging benefits, not only for bones but also for gums, for example. And we know gum disease affects a lot of older folks, for the blood vessels, which are made up of connective tissue, and obviously heart disease and vascular diseases are a big problem as we age, and then also for the skin, just for plain old vanity reasons. Using connective tissue building strategies can help you stave off wrinkles and photo damage and some of the signs of accelerated skin aging. You know, I'm in the skin business. It's kind of interesting to me how a lot of folks don't really, are not necessarily going to do things for their internal health, but when it comes to skin health, then it gets serious. Right? If it comes to wrinkles and it comes to accelerated aging of the skin, that's when nutritional supplementation gets serious. Not for everybody, but for some folks.
831-479-1080, 218-5726, kscodave@gmail.com. I got a text message here, Ben, just came in. It says, let's see, what can I say? Can you ask Ben about toenail fungus and what is the best way to treat it?
That's a toughie. You
Is
know
it
why?
really?
And you know that's a toughie?
Why?
Because funguses, molds, the fungal kingdom, which includes things like mold and mushrooms, for example, they grow by spores. They don't have seeds; they have spores, and these spores are very, very, very difficult to kill off because they have these hard shells. Nature has equipped them with almost a death-defying strategy for propagation. So it's really, really hard to get rid of fungal infections with medication. They do have nail medication that you can use, and they have some really, really toxic internal antifungal medications. Sometimes they'll have to, if you have a really bad fungal infection like black mold, and if you've ever heard of that, they'll actually give it to you intravenous. But for nail fungus, it's very difficult to get rid of that. That's because the nails are actually one of the ways that the body is eliminating the fungus. You think about it, the nails are kind of growing outside the body, so they represent a kind of a very handy way for the body to eliminate things through the nails.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So when you have fungus in the nails, it's really kind of the excretion. The fungal infection is inside your body, but you see it in the nails because the body's trying to eliminate the fungus. So you can't really get rid of nail fungus by treating the nails. And this is kind of one of the themes of nutritional supplementation, is this idea that you can't solve a problem at the level of the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if you have a rotten apple on a tree, you can't solve the problem by spraying the rotten apple. It's already rotten. How do you handle rotten fruit on a tree? Not at the level of the rotten fruit. What do? You go to the soil and the root. And in the case of fungal infections, the soil is literally the soil. And when I say that, literally the soil, I'm talking about the microbiome, the gut, the intestine. There's a battle that goes on inside the body between the microbiome and the mycobiome. Have you heard that term, mycobiome?
No.
MYCO is myco, is the scientific prefix for fungus, myco.
Okay.
Like people who study mushrooms are called mycologists,
Right.
for example.
Right.
So myco means, or the mycobiome refers to the universe of fungus that live in the body.
Okay.
And the microbiome refers to, generally speaking, the universe of bacteria that lives in the body, although colloquially speaking, the microbiome refers to everything that lives in the body. You know, you have parasites in the body. Normally, in a healthy body, you'll have parasites. In a healthy body, you'll have viruses. In a healthy body, you'll have bacteria. In a healthy body, you'll have fungus. In a way, our bodies are just carriers for all of these microorganisms.
Dang.
You know, you got microorganisms in the strangest places. You know, in the follicles of your eyelashes, you have creatures that have an entire existence, and they just live happily inside the follicles, and you don't even know they exist, and they don't even know you exist. And that's kind of how the body is. We're like this universe of microorganisms, and we're sort of, in a way, we're like transporters for these microorganisms. We're nothing more than like a bus for bacteria and funguses. Isn't that kind of interesting? That we're just like carriers for these things.
It is interesting, Ben, when you put it like that. I didn't know that.
And so the point I'm making with the fungus is the best way to deal with fungal infections, whether it's nail fungal infections or skin fungal infections or fungal infections anywhere in the body, is to support the bacteria in the intestine, which will naturally take care of the fungus. When we ingest antibiotic-laden foods or antibiotic-laden water, or we take antibiotics or chlorinated water, which kills bacteria. We do all of these things that kill off our microbiome, and that's what allows the fungus to overgrow. Additionally, fungus or mold or the fungal kingdom loves sugar. In fact, there's a guy named Dr. William Crook who wrote a book called The Yeast Connection. Yeast are part of the fungal kingdom, and yeast infections are like fungal infections. And he wrote a book called The Yeast Connection back in the 1980s, I think, or maybe the late 1970s. And he put the blame squarely on refined carbohydrates and sugar. And he had the Yeast Connection diet is essentially a ketogenic diet. It's a low sugar, low calorie diet. And that's something that you want to consider. And then, of course, using things like your nightly essence, and then supporting intestinal health. And it's funny you brought the subject up about nail fungus, because I was just reading an article. If I can pat myself on the back here, this is from Nature, which is not an airy-fairy kind of alternative medicine magazine or journal. It's highly peer-reviewed and very, very well respected. This is from the journal, actually, Nature Reviews Gastroenterology, Digestive Health, and Hepatology, Liver Health. And the title of the article is The Gut Microbiome Connects Nutrition and Human Health. Now, I call that the first point on the triangle of disease. And this was an article that came out in June of this year, June 4th, 2025. Listen, don't wait for the medical folks. Don't wait for the scientific folks. Don't wait for the mainstream and orthodox medicine to bless the ideas that Dr. Wallach and myself and all the folks at Longevity have been saying for years. The gut microbiome is the start of either health or disease. All chronic degenerative disease has an element of microbiome health or lack thereof. And if you want to restore yourself back to health, the first thing you want to do is work on the gut microbiome. And this is not just me now. This is accepted orthodox medicine and health protocols. This is reading from the article, first sentence. The gut microbiome, as the bacteria in the gut, has an undeniable role in mediating the health effects of the diet, given its ability to co-digest nutrients and influence nutrient signaling to multiple organ symptoms. Period. Understanding the interactions between the gut microbiome, the food we eat, and the different body organ systems is crucial from a public health perspective. Unquote. That's a direct quote from the abstract of this article that was published in Nature Reviews Gastroenterology and Hepatology. So, sometimes I think when I'm talking about these things, people are rolling their eyes a little bit. Do you roll your eyes when I talk about this, Dave?
Maybe. A
little bit, right? I know. I understand. Sometimes people will roll their eyes right in front of me when I'm talking to them about this stuff. And I get it, because it just sounds like your mother telling you to eat your vegetables. You know what I mean? There's this kind of like resistance that we have to changing the way we eat. We like to eat what we like to eat, but there's a price to be paid. And when you add in the fact that there are PhD biochemist geniuses who know how to create food substances, they're not even really foods, food substances that are absolutely irresistible to ingest, even though they have no nutritional value or they anti-nutritional value, it's next to impossible to make sure that you're eating correctly. The best thing we can do is eat as little as possible. That's the best strategy from a health perspective. Eat as little as possible, particularly if you're dealing with some kind of chronic degenerative disease. You don't want to starve. not telling anybody to starve to become malnourished, but just as little as possible, as little as you need. Are you bringing that bell, or what is that?
Oh, you heard that?
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's a gentle cue, Ben, that we have callers and other things. No, and other things to get to.
All right.
So I want to get to a phone call, Ben, but before we do that, I have this email here. This is she wrote to me about 2 weeks ago, and we're just getting to it now. It says, I'm just checking in on my question about biotin and hair loss. I get 750 milligrams in the BTT and take a supplement of 2,000 milligrams. I'm assuming she's talking about biotin.
Yes.
I just would to know if I can take more than that without it being toxic.
First of all, biotin deficiency is really rare. It doesn't really occur.
Okay.
But if you did have a biotin deficiency, yeah, you could lose some hair and have hair loss, but you don't blame hair loss on biotin deficiency. That is a rare cause of hair loss. The most important cause of hair loss is thyroid health, which in turn is related to the health of the adrenal glands, the health of the blood sugar system, and the health of the digestive system. This gets back to the triangle of disease, the 3 points of bodily breakdown that lead to all health challenges. We love our hair. Hair is luscious and beautiful to look at, and it's symbolic of strength. For men, it's symbolic of virility. For women, it's symbolic of femininity. Everybody loves hair, right? Mm-hmm. But to the body, the hair is not important after a certain age. Or even in general, it's not important at all. Under conditions of hormonal dysfunction or poor hormonal health, you're going to lose hair. Under conditions of nutritional deficiencies, you're going to lose hair. Under conditions of poor health in general, hair loss will occur because the body considers the heart and the intestine and the spleen and the lungs and all of the internal viscera to be much more important than long, luscious locks, if you will. So under conditions of hormonal distress, nutritional distress, just psychological distress, people who lose their hair when they're having a stressful life, like from a psychological perspective, you're going to lose your hair. The biotin deficiency as a cause of hair loss is hardly ever occurs because biotin deficiency is extremely rare. You don't need a lot of biotin to function, and biotin is found in almost all vegetables, fruits, eggs, dairy, meat, fish are going to give you some biotin. So the idea of taking biotin for hair loss is silly. More about marketing than anything else. It's they glorify biotin as a supplement for hair because biotin is essentially non-toxic and you can use as much biotin as you want. And so companies that sell biotin products for hair, and by the way for nails, they use it for nail supplements as well, don't have to worry about anybody having a toxic reaction to biotin. So they'll market biotin that way. But hair loss is not a biotin for the most part, unless you have severe biotin deficiency, which hardly ever happens.
831-479-1080 is the phone number. We are live every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. We have a call from Rory. Thank you for the call, Rory. You're in the air.
What's up, Rory?
Hey, you guys. Hey, well, happy December 1st, and thanks for
happy
taking
Thanksgiving.
my call.
Happy Thanksgiving. We missed you last week.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was actually out of town. I had sudden death in the family, and it's a long story, but wow, that's all I could say. She was a year older than me. Pretty scary.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Well, no, I want to stop there. I did want to say that when you talked about that, when you read from that abstract from that journal just now, I mean, you've been saying that for years.
Years.
Broken record, Ben.
I know.
All health is gut health. I mean, all disease is cell disease. It needs nutrition, oxygen, and detoxification.
I know. I feel like I'm like
good.
preach. It's
It's good.
You think I should keep saying it, right? Not stop. I'm not.
You got to do it. You got to do it. So the other thing is, both you and Doc Wallach were prescient. When you think about how long has Wallach been on KSO? Close to 30 years now. And he said when all this when all this stuff was ramping up, he goes, you better learn to take care of yourself. Because you're going to get sucked into this system.
Yeah.
It's a moneymaker for insurance companies and hospitals, and the government's involved now. He goes, if you want to stay healthful and have vitality, you better do this. You depend on these guys, you're going down the toilet, and they're going to suck all the money out of your estate. So anyway,
and you're in the system.
Yeah.
Once you get involved with the system, You know, they have everything, and they own you.
That's right.
Right?
I had it, and this, I'm not bragging on myself. Anyway, I had an MD buddy that I would argue with, and he said, if all my patients were like you, I'd go out of business.
And that would be a good thing.
All right. Oh, yeah. So, well, the shift is on. So,
you think?
Some point. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
No. You watch the young people?
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. It's coming. So, but real quick, friends of ours, acquaintances, Southern California. Anyway, I saw him last week, and the husband was going in the next day for an ablation, heart ablation. I had some packets of the BTT, and I think that's like one of the best selling points.
Tell everybody what a heart ablation is. Rory, tell everybody what a heart ablation is.
Well, they go in and they cauterize.
They cauterize.
Artery.
Dave, did you hear that? They cauterize your heart.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They burn your heart.
I know, and I gave them like 3 packets of the BTT 2.0 travel stuff, and I told her I'd get back to the wife. She was like, all ears. And I told her, okay, so where do I direct on the Mineral Way? Where do I direct them? What is going to be the heart pack?
Dave?
Talk to me,
David.
Well, Ben, they can order anything from Youngevity. So in general, what would be the best thing that we have for the heart? Yeah,
Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. And then I don't know if Ultimate Selenium I think that might be part of it. Ultimate Niacin.
It is. Yeah.
CFX, Zinc FX. The Ultimate EFAs are part of it. They're part. You get the
extra,
Healthy Brain and Heart Pack to start.
Zinc and selenium. Okay.
And I think the selenium's there.
FX.
I would throw in the Fucoid Z too. Fucoid Z is very important for the blood, which by extension makes it important for the heart.
Perfect. All right, Ben. Thanks.
All right, Rory. Thank you so much. Good to talk to you.
You bet.
Yeah.
Likewise. Bye.
All right.
831-479-1080. That is the phone number. You can also send a text message to 218-5726, KSEODave@gmail.com, questions@themineralway.com. Will work as now, Ben.
Have you ever seen Rory in person?
Yeah, of course.
That guy is amazing.
He is. He's a heck of a dude.
He is 65 years old, and he looks 20
He
years
looks
younger.
80. Oh, yeah, 20-something. Yeah.
20 years younger.
Yeah, probably.
No lie.
We'll be right back, Ben. You hang in there. Don't go anywhere, Ben. We're going to take a 2-minute break. When we get back, we're going to answer some more questions.
Okay.
Buster, is that you? You're moving like a pup on espresso. What gives?
Thanks. Just keeping up with my routine, some light jogs, a few unauthorized trash inspections, and started taking Arthrodex.
Arthrodex? Is that one of those new chew toys with Bluetooth?
Nah, it's a supplement from Youngevity. It's loaded with vitamins, minerals, amino acids, even stuff to keep my joints moving like they used to.
So, it's like a multivitamin, but it actually tastes good?
Exactly. My coat's shinier, I'm springier than ever, and the stairs don't mock me anymore.
Man, I've been getting winded halfway through Squirrel Patrol.
Tell your human to go to themineralway.com. That's where mine gets it. Easy peasy.
Done. I'm one biscuit away from entering the Zoomy Olympics.
Give your pets the nutritional support they deserve with Arthrodex from Youngevity, because staying active, happy, and healthy never goes out of style. Available now at themineralway.com. Tired of supplements that don't seem to do anything? Meet Beyond Tangy Tangerine, BTT, the one that actually delivers. Each scoop gives you 87 of the 90 essential nutrients your body needs. You'll feel it almost right away. That vitamin B kick boosts your energy and your mood. Now here's what makes it different. BTT is built on plant-derived colloidal minerals. Most products stop at vitamins. BTT focuses on minerals your body can actually absorb. You'll feel it inside and out. Each canister is a full month's supply. Just mix it with water or in your smoothie. It tastes great and blends easy. Choose the original, the 2.0, or the new 2.5 tropical fruit. Extra vitamin B, extra punch, and that clean, tangy flavor you'll look forward to. Start feeling like $1,000,000 with Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Go to themineralway.com to order. That's themineralway.com. Safe, easy, and legit. Don't go anywhere else. Themineralway.com.
831-479-1080, 831-218-5726, kseodave@gmail.com, or questions@themineralway.com. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs and I will get those questions together and answer them as soon as we can. That is questions@mineralway.com, 479-1080, 218-5726. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. You want some more? Some more articles? Here's another. Can I pat myself on the back here one more time?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
This is from the journal Scientific Reports from June 2025, June of this year. Relationship of cholesterol levels with pre-diabetes and newly detected type 2 diabetes. Weren't we talking about this last week?
I think so.
How elevated cholesterol is a blood sugar issue. Well, once again, these ideas have been verified by science. Not that you need them verified, but just for folks who think that, my doctor never told me that. These kinds of, the things that we talk about here and that I've been talking about for years are about biochemistry. The body's obviously a biochemical system, but medicine doesn't operate in the realm of biochemistry. It operates in the realm of clinical chemistry. Have we talked about this? Forgive me if we have.
I don't know, Ben.
Clinical chemistry is the chemistry of test scores. The chemistry of your blood sugar levels, or your blood cholesterol levels, or your BMR, your bone mineral density, your thyroid levels, your TSH levels. They call that functional medicine generally, and people who practice functional medicine, or sometimes patients who go to functional medicine practitioners, will consider that to be kind of, that's a cut above regular doctors. I don't go to a regular doctor. I go to functional medicine. Or doctors will say, I practice functional medicine. Like it's a big deal. Well, functional medicine just means instead of just guessing, they use test scores. Now, maybe it's a little bit better than test scores, but you can't test score your way back to health. And just using test scores to determine how healthy or unhealthy somebody is flies in the face of biochemistry. And there's a lot of folks who feel like crap, excuse me if I can say that word, feel lousy, have dry skin, their hair is falling out, their nails are have ridges, they're gaining weight. All of these are signs of poor thyroid function, hypothyroidism. And they'll go to the doctor, and the doctor will say, oh, well, your thyroid score tests are normal. You're just fine. And then they'll get Prozac, or they'll get an antidepressant, because obviously they're crazy to think that they've got a thyroid problem when their thyroid test scores are perfect. Have you run into these people that have all the signs of diabetes, all the signs of insulin resistance, but the doctor says, well, your blood sugar's normal, and everything's normal. We can't figure out why you're gaining weight, and why you got liver problems, and why you have high blood pressure, because everything's normal. And that's the distinction. That's a distinction that highlights the distinction and the relevance of the distinction between biology and biochemistry and clinical chemistry or functional medicine. That's why I'm not a big fan of functional medicine any more than I'm a fan of the modern medical model. But functional medicine is a little bit, they deserve a little bit more disparagement, because they consider themselves to be better than regular medicine, and they're not. They just happen to use test scores. And using test scores is trying to get healthy by improving your test scores is like trying to change a lousy hamburger by rewriting the menu. I always think of a guy who goes to a restaurant and takes a bite of the hamburger and calls the waiter over and says, that hamburger, you sold me that's the most disgusting hamburger I ever had. And the waiter says, what? And he pulls up the menu and he says, look at the menu here. Delicious hamburger, juicy, best hamburger, voted best hamburger in the world. And he's like, I don't care what it says on the menu. That's a lousy hamburger. And that's kind of the relationship that functional medicine has to health, when there's a contradiction between how we feel and what our test scores say.
I like it, Ben.
Did you like that analogy?
Actually, I don't like. I like the analogy. I don't like what it was about, though. I mean, that's kind of why we do this, Ben.
Yeah, well, that is why we do this. There's no medication. There's no drug. There's nothing in the pharmacomedical model's magical bag of tricks that is going to make you healthy. At best, you can minimize the symptoms of your of your health challenge, but you're not going to get healthier by using a prescription drug or by having a surgical procedure. But nutrition, on the other hand, you better believe you can get healthier with a good nutritional supplement program, like the Healthy Start Pack or the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack or whatever pack, whatever system you want to get on from Longevity.
Now, I do like that, Ben. And all of those packs that you just mentioned all have the 90 essential nutrients
90
and then
essential
some.
nutrients,
Whether
minerals,
it's
aminos, fatty acids, and vitamins.
right. Whether it's the Healthy Start Pack, the Bone and Joint Pack, the Heart and Brain Pack, the
Healthy blood sugar
pack, the Digestion Pack, all of those
Yes.
have the 90 essential nutrients.
That's right.
All right, Ben, here's a question for you. Hi.
Hi.
Please provide a treatment protocol for pterygium. Did I pronounce that right? P-T-E-R-Y-G-I-U-M.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about
Pterygium.
pterygium. Yeah, let's talk about pterygium. Pterygium is a growth.
Okay.
Except it happens, the growth that we call pterygium is on the eye surface. And it can be very troublesome, obviously, called redness and irritation. Mostly it just feels like there's something in your eye. And they call it surfer's eye, by the way, because a lot of times people who are in the wind and in the sun will get this kind of condition. But really, it's a sign of a metabolic imbalance. And this gets back to what we were talking about earlier. You cannot treat a problem where you see the problem in health. There's nothing that you can do to a pterygium at the level of the pterygium. Pterygium means wings, like the pterodactyl dinosaurs.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
like I think it means wing, and that has to do with the shape of the growth. It looks like a wing. It's a little triangular growth that starts off in the corner of the eye and then kind of extends out. And it's not like deadly or anything, but it can be pretty darn uncomfortable, and it can affect your vision. And it can actually, later on, it can affect the eye if it gets severe. So whenever you have a growth, what you're dealing with is cells that are growing out of control. Cells, it's all about cells, first of all. You know, all disease is cell disease, as Rory mentioned earlier. It's all about the cell. The default state of a cell is to grow. And it takes energy, and it takes a healthy system, and it takes nutrition to put the brakes on growth. Under conditions of a lack of nutrients, an out of balance system, particularly when involving sugar and insulin and the hormone estrogen, things will grow out of control. Classic case is cancer, but things like pterygium, they're not cancerous, they're non-cancerous, they're benign, but they're the same idea. They're cells that are growing out of control. Now, unless you know a little bit about health or a little bit about biology, it's hard to think of a growth in the eye as a cellular problem. It's hard to think of a boil or a fibroid or scar tissue as a cellular problem. It's hard to think of acne as a cellular problem, or psoriasis as a cellular problem. These are all conditions that are marked by growth, and when we see the growth of the plaques of psoriasis or a pterygium or clogged pores if you have acne, it's hard to think of it being a cellular issue. We just see the lesion on the skin, the psoriatic lesion on the skin, and we say, "Oh, I'm going to get rid of that psoriatic lesion. I'm going to scrub it away. I'm going to rub it away. I'm going to peel it away." You may go to esthetician and use acids to get rid of it, because we don't have if we're not educated in biology, we don't have the vision to see it as a cellular problem. It's all about the cell. And here's what's really cool, Dave. As you treat one cell, you will treat all cells. So if you just think of treating one cell by making sure one cell is nutriated, one cell is oxygenated, one cell is doing its business in a clean environment, all your cells will benefit. And those are the only three things that can go wrong with a cell. So first of all, you take this idea, all disease is cell disease, right? Everything's cellular. Heart disease is a cellular disease. Cancer is a cellular disease. Autoimmunity is a cellular disease. It's always about the cell. And if you understand that it's always about the cell, then you have to say, what is it that a cell needs? Well, the good news is that a cell only needs three things. It needs food, it needs oxygen, and it needs a clean place to do its work. And when I say it needs, these are the three things we have to provide. A cell needs a lot of things, but it can get most of the stuff on its own. But the three things we need to provide the cell with are cleanliness, oxygen, and nutrition. And the only things that can really go wrong with the cell are starvation, suffocation, and toxification. So if those are the only three things that can go wrong with the cells, starvation, suffocation, and toxification, and all disease is cellular disease, then you say, all we need to do to be healthy, all we need to do to reverse disease, all we need to do to prevent disease is feed the system, oxygenate the system, and keep the system clean. Now, there's ways to do all three. Obviously, nutrition. We talk about that every day on the show, or every week on the show, right? Nutritional supplementation, but there's also eating correctly. You know, nutritional supplementation can help for sure, but you got to make sure that you're eating correctly. Then there's oxygenation. Well, when you think about oxygenation, obviously the first thing to think about is breathing. And breathing correctly is not necessarily something that people understand how to do. You know, I was talking to my mom. I went to visit my mom a couple weeks ago, and she has sleep apnea, and she has no energy. She keeps going to the doctor, and the doctors can't figure out why she has no energy. Oh, well, you must be anemic, and they try to give her iron, and they give her blood transfusions, and nothing helps. Well, she clearly has problems breathing, so I was trying to teach my mom how to breathe. And she thought that was the weirdest thing, that she would have to learn how to breathe. Now, my mom's 92 years old, but, you know, people don't realize that breathing doesn't just happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you say sometimes to people, you got to breathe correctly, they're like, what? Of course I'm breathing correctly. I'd be dead if I wasn't breathing correctly. No. By not breathing correctly, number one, we rob the body, the cells of oxygen and the blood of oxygen. And this can lead to all kinds of health challenges, not to mention fatigue. But also, when we don't breathe correctly, we accumulate toxicity, because one of the ways the body detoxifies itself is through exhalation. So understanding how to inhale and exhale correctly, and the way you inhale and exhale correctly is by exhaling more than you inhale, and inhaling and exhaling, the respiratory cycle should happen really slowly, like 5 or 6 times a minute. You want to have a cycle, even less. Most of us are breathing much faster than that. If you have a problem sleeping, one of the fastest ways to put yourself to sleep is to slow down your breathing. Slowing down the breathing activates the relaxation nervous system. But a second important way to make sure we're oxygenating is to improve blood circulation. Oxygen is delivered through the circulatory system, through the blood. And when the blood becomes sticky, right? Now, all disease is cell disease, but all cell disease is preceded by dirty blood. Oxygenation to the tissues suffers. So moving the body to improve circulation is important. Fluidizing the blood to improve circulation is important. And working on patching up a leaky gut to prevent toxicity from getting into the bloodstream is also going to be important for improving oxygenation. One of the, I know we talked about this last week, but I think it's super interesting. One of the things that the body will do, the brain will do specifically, when oxygen is not reaching the tissues and the cells, is it will turn up the pressure in an attempt to get oxygen to the cells. This, of course, will lead to what's called high blood pressure. And doctors have no idea of what causes it. In fact, they even admit it. They say it's essential hypertension. Essential means they don't know what causes it. Well, what's causing it is the brain's trying to deliver oxygen, is trying to get more oxygen to the tissues. So oxygenation is the second thing that's important for cells, and you can oxygenate obviously by breathing correctly, but also by moving your body, also by fluidizing the blood, and also by patching up a leaky gut and preventing toxicity from getting into the bloodstream. This will also, by the way, have a blood antihypertensive effect, a blood pressure lowering effect when you start to use these strategies. And sugar, by the way, is a major blood toxin, a major substance that causes blood to become sticky, glycated they call it, and that's why high blood pressure and diabetes go hand in hand. And then the third element is to keep the system clean. And by the system, we're talking about the blood. How do you keep the system clean? Well, obviously, patch up a leaky gut, stay away from sugar, don't eat processed foods that have high glycemic index or are rapidly spike blood sugar. Just keep the system clean, and of course, avoiding cigarettes and alcohol and drugs and all that kind of stuff. Keeping the system clean, and that's really all you need to do to stay healthy. Nutriate, oxygenate, and keep the body clean, the blood system clean.
831.
And that's how you handle pterygium, by the way, because that was a long-winded answer for that.
831-479-1080. Terry is calling from Ben Lomond. Let's see what he has to say. You're in the air, sir. Thank you for the call.
Hello, Terry.
Hi, Dave and Ben.
Hey.
Yeah, so I kind of like I had the subject I was going to talk to you about, but when I hear you talking, I'm like, well, I want to talk about that too.
Okay.
So breathing has been related to increasing your nitric oxide, which there's like this sex therapy lady that was on a YouTube channel, and she goes, if you just breathe deeply, it'll increase your libido. So that's a whole nother subject. So my brother, my 70-year-old brother he has prostate cancer that is stage 2, and he has leukemia that's stage 0. So he's doing okay now, but he's losing weight, and I think the reason he's losing weight is because he's on this keto diet, and he wants to starve the cancer of carbohydrates and sugar.
Okay.
But he thinks it's okay to consume fat. And I'm like, Barry,
what kind of fat? It depends on what kind of fat.
Well, you know how the keto diet is.
Well, there's good fat. There's good fat, butter, for example, eggs. Those are good fats. But there's lousy fats. And so when people sometimes do the ketogenic diet and they want fats, they don't make a distinction between stable quality fats and unstable, distorted processed fats. So butter, ghee, dairy, if it's clean and it's not and it's raw, eggs. These are all good fish. These are all sources of quality fats. Also, if you do supplements that are kept in gel caps, or if you do something like liquid supplements like Udo's Blend that's kept in the refrigerator, that can get you good fats too. But fats are so unstable. They're so readily distorted by heat, by oxygen, by light, that for the most part, the fats that we ingest are, if you're buying them in the supermarket, they're definitely, not only they're not going to be good for you, but they're also going to feed cancer. Processed fats, fried fats are pro-carcinogenic. And if he's doing the ketogenic diet in order to starve the cancer, the prostate cancer and the blood cancer, and he's doing the wrong kinds of fats, he's fighting against himself. So you make sure the fats are quality. Good quality fats are very important. There's actually an anti-cancer diet called the Budwig diet. You may want to read up on this. Joanna Budwig, she was a big proponent of using cottage cheese and flaxseed oil. And she said that there's a reaction between the amino acids in cottage cheese and flaxseed oil that helps with cancer. So your brother might want to take a look at the Budwig diet, Joanna Budwig, Budwhig, I think she spells it.
Oh, great. Yeah. And so I have this buddy that all he does is he researches all this stuff on the internet, and he's always telling me this information. Have you heard about this stuff it's made from eggshells, and it's like new research finds that eggshell, he takes it like in a capsule. Have you heard anything about the eggshell?
Are you asking me this, or are you telling me that's what he said?
Yeah, no, I'm just asking you because he's like researching all this new information all the time.
Yeah, eggshells. Eggshells can provide some good calcium, silica, other minerals. Eggshells can be healthy for sure, and they're cheap. Even as good as the eggshells, or even maybe better than the eggshells, is the lining inside the eggshell. You know how when you make a hard-boiled egg and you peel the shell off, there's like a lining between the shell and the egg?
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? That lining, which is on the inside of the shell, is basically high hyaluronic acid and collagen. And if you can collect up those linings, I forgot the term for they use for the lining, that could be really healthy for you, as healthy or healthier even than the eggshells, which are primarily made up of calcium carbonate.
Right on. And I called you a few weeks ago about creatine, and I've been taking it for about a month. I've been taking it for a month and a half, and I found out that it's So I. For the first month, and if I ate too much, I'd have extreme bloating. I'm like, wow.
How much is too much? What were you doing?
Just kind of like adding more pasta, and also...
No, creatine. What were you doing? How much creatine were you doing?
Just the recommended is the little scoop. It's like,
Okay.
5 milligrams a day.
And you were bloating from that? You think you were bloating from
Yeah,
that?
yeah. And I remember when I used to take it 30 years ago, I remember everybody used to go, "Oh yeah, you retain water and you have bloating."
Yeah, that can happen. Absolutely, that is one of the things.
And
it's one of the downsides on it. But if you do just the right amount of it, 5 grams of it, which is a teaspoon, and after you load up on maybe 15 grams, 3 teaspoons or so. It is not only important for muscle development, that's what its claim to fame is for muscle development, for bodybuilders and weightlifters and athletes, but it's also very important for brain health, for cognitive function. It's important for skin health. In fact, it's important for everything. It's one of the best, and when you compare the inexpensive nature of creatine with the benefits of creatine, it is one of the most cost-effective supplements a human being can ever ingest. It's got 3 amino acids. It's a tripeptide. It buffers acid. It's a source of phosphorus. It's just incredible, incredible stuff. And I've been reading about it now for years because I first, in addition to using it for bodybuilding and for muscle development, I started using it in skincare products because it's great for the skin. Topical creatine or internal creatine can help you with your skin as well. And then I started reading up on it, and geez, that stuff's amazing. Particularly for older folks, particularly for people who are frail, or older folks who are frail, or older folks who are starting to experience some cognitive issues, creatine can be an amazingly helpful nutritional supplement. I'm a fan.
And then my buddy is talking about this guy, Dr. Artisan, and he's talking about...
Dr. Artis. No, Dr. Artis.
Artis.
Yeah, Ardis. Good guy. I was on I did a couple interviews with him.
And then he's talking about like benefits of niacin.
Nicotine.
I remember
he talks about
taking
nicotine.
niacin, but it was like the blood just kind of like pumps to my head, and I'm like, man.
Well, that's a niacin flush. That's a little bit different. Dr. Artis is big on nicotine, though. He talks about nicotine.
That's what my buddy was telling me.
Yeah. He's a big guy, and nicotine's getting a lot of press now. Nicotine can activate the relaxation nervous system. And it also has some effects on, it's called the cholinergic nervous system, and it can have some cognitive benefits as well. And there's some compelling literature about nicotine. Dr. Artis has been talking about it for years. Okay, I get it. There's the bell. We got to move on. But yeah, nicotine's great for you want no flush niacin. That's the kind of niacin that will keep you from getting that head flush or that itchy feeling that sometimes you get with too much niacin. Sorry, Dave. I know I'm getting long-winded there.
Thank you for the call, Terry. 831-479-1080. One more call, Ben. This, I believe her name is Rain. You're in the air. Thank you for the call.
Make it rain.
Hi there. Happy holidays. Whatever you
Rain.
celebrate. Hi. Listen, I've got an issue that I had a lesion on my leg. And I went to every place I could imagine, urgent care. It was like a raisin, and it exploded into like a quarter-size sore that was right above my ankle bone on inside the ankle, like an inch two above. So I went to the wound clinic, Watsonville. Forget that place. She came after me with a scalpel, and I ran out of there like my hair on fire. So then I said, I got to go to Stanford. I got to see if Medicare will play for Stanford. They didn't have any appointments open. I said, Good Samaritan. That was the best place ever been.
What did they do?
Wound clinic. Well, they kept wrapping it, and I kept going back every week. $90 for a taxi over there. I don't care. I just kept going. The nurses were Vietnamese and Asian, and the doctor came in for 2 seconds. Okay, I won't talk about that. But the nurses, you talk about nurses, they kept saying, You're getting better, because I thought it was MRSA. They kept saying, no, it's not MRSA. You don't have a fever. They took cultures, and they kept taking a picture of it every time. They said, it's getting smaller. I didn't want to look at it. I felt like my leg was going to, just dissolve. But now a whole year to September, and I went back about a month ago, and they said, you don't have to come back anymore. You've got a scab on it. It's good. But
awesome.
They have a hyperbaric chamber there. It's the Good Samaritan Mission Hill campus in Los Gatos. They're wonderful.
All right, thanks for the tip. Here, next time, I hope you never have that lesion again, but for anybody who has a lesion now, or if you, hopefully never happens again, but if it ever does, put fucoidin right on top of it. Get yourself some of that Fucoid Z, break open a capsule, put in a little water, make it a gel, and put it right on the lesion. You'll be amazed what that does for healing skin.
Well, I've been on the tangy tangerine. I totally believe in that as far as vitamins and the B vitamins. And I was under a lot of stress, and that was adding to the situation. But also about sleeping. There's a good YouTube about this man from Ireland. Patrick from Ireland says mouth breathing. He calls it mouth breathing. And he said just take a little piece of tape and tape your lips together and breathe through the nose. And you get the right oxygen, and you don't snore. And the snoring breaks. So that a lot of people don't know about it. And it's a YouTube, Patrick from Ireland. So,
Thank you for that.
One thing about thyroid nodules, how about that? I got a family member with that situation going on now.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you. Speak louder.
Thyroid
nodules are a sign that the thyroid is looking for iodine. Not always, but it could be inflammation as well. But one of the things I think about is iodine deficiency. That's one of the reasons the thyroid will get big. But also, if there's general inflammation, that can be a problem. Hypothyroidism is oftentimes caused by an autoimmune reaction, so that can be involved as well. Dealing with thyroid issues is like we were talking about earlier. You can't deal with it directly unless there's iodine deficiency. Then you can deal with it directly. But hypothyroidism, you got to work on the digestive system, the blood sugar system, and also the adrenal system. And that's how you. That's the reason why hypothyroid patients suffer so is because there's no medical treatment. There's no way you can treat a hypothyroid except for to give thyroid hormone. There's nothing you can do. But backtracking to the digestive system, the blood sugar system, and the adrenal glands, you can do a lot to help restore a thyroid back to its euthyroid, its good thyroid state.
Thank you for the call, Rain. 831-479-1080, 218-5726. Questions at themineralway.com. KSEODave@gmail.com. Any of those ways you can interact. We are here live every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. We love to answer your phone calls, text messages, and emails. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, I bid you farewell, sir. Until next week.
Next Monday. Yes, take care. Bye, Dave.
This is The Mineral Way. Keep it tuned in. We're going to tell you how you can get a hold of any of the products that we just spoke with you about coming up in about 20 seconds. Keep it tuned in right here, The Mineral Way. You can find our archives on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, any of your favorite podcast platforms. You will find us there. Until next time, remember, there is a better way, The Mineral Way. Looking for a better way to take charge of your health and maybe even your income? Then listen up, because themineralway.com is your one-stop destination for world-class longevity products and a powerful business opportunity. At themineralway.com, you can order the same high-quality supplements featured on the Mineral Way podcast, trusted by thousands and shipped to customers across the U.S. and other countries around the world. And these aren't just any products. They're designed to support energy, clarity, mobility, all the things that help you live better, feel better, and stay active no matter your age. But here's where it gets really exciting. You can also become a distributor. When you enroll through themineralway.com, your sponsors, also known as your upline, are none other than pharmacist Ben Fuchs and me, Dave Michaels. That means you're not on your own. You'll get expert training, a full library of support materials, and your very own professional website all ready to go. You can run your entire business from your home computer, smartphone, or landline. No employees, no building to rent, no overhead, just you helping others, building a business, and creating a future. And if you're the kind of person who listens to the show, you already get it. You care about your health, you care about people. That makes you the perfect candidate to start your own business. Imagine setting your own hours, working with a team that wants to see you succeed, and waking up each day knowing that you're making a difference for yourself and for others. Plus, you can go at your own pace. Whether you want to earn a little extra on the side or go full-time, you're in control. No pressure, just real support and real opportunity. And here's the kicker. It's your business. You can pass it on to a family member or even sell it down the road. So whether you're looking to improve your health, build something meaningful, or add new income stream, it's all waiting for you. There is a better way, themineralway.com. That's themineralway.com. Check it out today.